Hi, I am the man. My name is Foxtrot and I'm the ultimate self-proclaimed tactician. It just so happens that I feel like teaching you the way of planning victory. It does not particularly matter whether you are proud of Foxtrot period or someone has friends or maybe you're a leader of some sort. You will hopefully learn something. The following material is a conjunction of asking AI for it has had some extensive research into many books which I probably not read, fragments of I remember from the books I've read, and some combat experience I've had throughout my career. To be on offensive means that you push your enemy constantly. There is a couple of principles, but it goes mostly around your initiative, surprise, speed, and coordination. To take initiative might mean to just straight up drive at the enemy. It might be a daring helicopter insertion, right behind or beside the enemy. It might be you deciding to take the point closest to the enemy spawn. You will not get anywhere without initiative. As for surprise, if you appear for unexpected place or at the time where the enemy does not expect you to be there in the first place, you likely will catch the enemy by surprise. Now, usually, surprise means that you get to take the first shot, and with proper skill, that means the opponent falls before they're able to do anything. Speed is handy for all situations. If you're fast, you're taking initiative to surprise the enemy. I'll go as far as to say it is vital for most aerial maneuvers. Coordination is key for larger maneuvers, as well as communication, which together come hand in hand. If you want your grand offensive to not crash because of a 4-year-old who accidentally found the game on the iPad and somehow learned to sneak up on tanks and use his RPG, you need communication and a plan, a flexible plan which will allow for the individuals driving the tanks to do as they please in a way which benefits the team. Achieving actual combined arms in MTC is difficult to say the least, especially with the randoms who tend to not be the brightest. What even is combined arms? Combined arms is an approach to warfare that seeks to integrate different combat arms of a military to achieve mutual complementary effects. For example, using infantry and armor in an urban environment in which each supports the other. Judging by this quote, you can see how it is beneficial to you and the people down there have to do this. It is not particularly hard to have infantry and the vehicle work together, since all you need is like 2 infantry in one vehicle. It is not too strict on your manpower and allows you to put pressure off each individual element. As it has been spoken in the book, Winning the Fight: A Conceptual Framework for Combat Performance Enhancement, poorly trained, poorly skilled units tend to focus on other things instead of combat. Imagine a situation where the above mentioned unit goes on offensive and while going through the field they are too busy discussing a cup of tea they had while staring at the beautiful flowers on the side, while their opponent is using the opportunity to fully concentrate on engaging them. For example, as you can see, I'm pretty bothered with opening that door. In a minute, I meet the TATB and it fucking kills me. You can see what I'm hinting at. By means of combined arms, you can afford to have a small fraction of your force not be exactly prepared for engagement and still get excellent results. Managing to coordinate air and ground is maybe more difficult. Aerial assets can allow you to reconnoiter your positions before moving in. Request indirect fire to create set positions and take minimal casualties. Besides your constants, your Little Bird, Black Hawk, Apache, or any of the enemies can shoot the enemy as well. If the air asset can't quite get the enemy, it can also shake the shit out of the screen, while you roll up and shoot them in the face. Maybe the easiest means of combined arms is indirect fire support. Artillery tends to be really effective if knows where to shoot. It is just great at suppressing the enemy and often doing the ops altogether. It ain't that hard to sit in one squad and ping warrior one gone. Now, sometimes you're infantry, sometimes you're a tank. It's not always necessary to be over tactical when you're just trying to move or have an engagement, but combat is not just a sudden thing. It is somewhat similar to chess. For every measure you take, there will be a countermeasure. For every countermeasure, there's not a countermeasure. And it goes on. If you think about it, you can figure out pretty clever things. Let's say you want to push that tank which happened to hide in a nasty position. The only issue, he's alone and he needs to move offside to have visual contact on you. My goodness gracious. How shall we tackle this? All we need is 2 tanks or substitute one of the tanks with infantry. It doesn't matter. One moves up while the other one makes sure the opponent is discouraged from peeking out and taking pot shots. After you figure out, yep, it seems good enough for me, the covering element proceeds to advance, while the initially advancing element covers them. This goes on until you reach the enemy and do as you please to take them out. Another genuinely very important thing is flanking. If, instead of simply going at the enemy, you can go around the enemy and the enemy isn't particularly ready for this trickery, that tends to result in the enemy dying. I know this is an absolutely amazing tactic for the battle of wits. Sometimes you have to fight enemies in buildings. One mistake I commonly see people do is rush. While it is effective when you know where the enemy is, what if you don't? Let's say Normandy. On Normandy, there is the bunker on point C. There's a lot of sketchy places from which you can kill the individual attempting to assault you very easily. How do you counter that? Pay attention. If you see a doorway, don't ignore it. Cut the pie, go in, check the corners. Keep looking for the opponent. We, the great Foxtrotians, had a battle. It was against Klovrasta. Very frequently, Klovrastas tried to assault the bunker rather carelessly. I often ended up being just behind them while they were running through the corridors, and I used that to my advantage, shooting them in the back of the head. While we've spoken of flanking, encirclement is another cool one. If you can manage to surround the enemy, you're gonna find out fairly quickly that, oh my god! If we can shoot at the enemy from 4 directions, they can't. Must be magic. Seriously, getting all over the enemy isn't just annoying and insane rage bait. It works. I personally dislike being surrounded by infantry when I happen to be using a tank. How can we actually apply this? Well, if you listened, you should be fucking capable of simply thinking, this guy told me if I can get a vehicle and do infantry I can flank the opposite infantry, suppress the opposite of the vehicle, and suddenly they're surrounded and they're getting simply fucking destroyed. Well, that's not always possible to coordinate a simple bluff. Allow for initiative. See, you don't need a detailed plan with geographically exact coordinates of where you expect the enemy to be, where you should be and where to look, and the timings blah blah blah. It isn't hard to deliver the idea of, okay guys, hold B with tanks, have a drone behind the line, we want to know what's coming, right? There should go infantry, like, capture some points, and like, if there is one left, like, go artillery, throw shit at the enemy. Have your men work around this kind of idea. You don't want to be precise, you don't need that precise choreography, of course. There's 2 sides of the coin. You can be too general with the ideas you give, or you can be too specific. As I said before, precise choreography. For example, Egyptian General Ismail Ali's reforms prior to the 1973 October War serve as an example of solution too specific. His plan was very specific and had one idea: to penetrate Israel's fixed defenses. Now, after they did do that, that was it. The plan did not account for anything besides penetrating the line. Helmuth von Moltke once said, No plan of operation extends with any certainty beyond the first encounter in the main enemy forces. While it may sound like, yep, clearly, fuck the plan, all true is, try not to fucking overplan and expect they won't succeed. Through adaptation, communication, and maneuver, you tend to prevail, which is a good thing if you didn't know. Now, if you do figure out how to do this, and even dare master this, even I didn't manage, you will get some victories and you'll definitely get called a sweat. If you dare to watch this, become a true Foxtrot patriot by joining us, and personally apply these tactics in the future battles.